Hello and welcome. What I'm going to show you today is my Demon Hunter build. This is pretty much the build that everybody's using that has a Demon Hunter. I haven't found anything better yet. I haven't been playing for as long as many people. As you can see, I'm only 218 Paragon. So this is a build that I've had since level 100 Paragon, I believe. Um, it's pretty easy to find the Marauder set. I found it quickly. The Ring of Royal Grandeur here does help. You only have to have 5 pieces, and then eventually you want to probably switch out to using TNT gloves, which will help with your sentries. But let's take a quick little dive into the basis of this gear. Marauder set. You can get all the pieces. The biggest thing here is, as you can see, it at 2 pieces it adds 500 dex, which is kind of standard for many sets. But 4 pieces, it's going to add the companion calls that all of your companions come to your side and fight, which is really good. But the highlight and the key of this build is the sentries, and they will cast every single hate spender you have, as it says down there. Many people thought it was just one hate spender, whatever your primary was you had equipped, but no, it's all of them. So as you can see down here, I've got cluster arrow, elemental arrow, multi-shot. It's going to cast every single one of those, which is fantastic. And I'll explain why in a little bit. Your amulet, you can use a number of ones. I've got this here, which helps the lightning damage. It does cold damage and arcane damage. Reaper's Wraps, I'm just trying this one out here. Really, it can be anything that buffs either your damage or your chance to be less squishy. And from that, the other ring I have is just one that increased my damage overall. And I did roll it, socket it with Pain Enhancer, still leveling that up. Witching Hour is still a great belt. It's been around for a while. This happened to be one of my wizard. I haven't had one drop since, so I just re-rolled it for Dex. Still decent. It could be a lot better. The Ring of Royal Grandeur, of course, this helps a lot. Right now, it really doesn't help me because I have all 6 pieces and I don't have TNT. But I do have the Enforcer in here, which increases the damage of your pets. And from everything I've found, sentries, which is a key part of this Marauder set, do count as a pet. So I have seen the damage increase over time with this. Using this single-handed crossbow, the main reason, I believe it's pronounced Danetta's Spite, the main reason I'm using this is because when you vault, like that, it's going to leave behind Shadow, which at the very least is a distraction and will allow you to evade and avoid getting killed, which has saved me many, many times. Because one thing about this character, and you may find it until you get really good gear, is that you are squishy. Toughness is low, healing is fairly low, but your damage is ridiculously high. And then Bombardier's Rucksack. This is pretty key. You don't need it, but it really helps because it does allow you to have 2 additional sentries. One of the downsides is it does take a while to cast sentries, and as you can see, I'll do it in the Rift later. But the sentries, the cooldown is a bit slow. There's a few things you can do to help speed that up. You can re-roll some of your things to get a better cooldown, or you can insert something into your helm here. This diamond here you can insert, and it'll reduce the cooldowns of all your skills, which will help you cast sentries faster. And the key is to get the sentries out as quick as possible to deal the most amount of damage. One thing with the sentries too is when you're casting them, if you know you're coming up on a boss or elite pack or something before it's actually encountered, drop as many sentries as you can, wait a second before you engage, and then vault around until you get them placed. So for the skills here, I've got Elemental Arrow, and that's with Frost Arrow. This is for cold damage, which I'll show you in a minute as to why. Multi-Shot, another Hatred Spender with Arsenal, firing rockets and dealing a fair amount of damage there. I've got Vault. This is something you can switch out with a crossbow I'm using Vault because of the ability of leaving the shadow behind, which helps a lot. I recommend it. You could probably switch this out and try something different. The companion is a must with the Marauder set. You just have to have it. Sentry, again, a must with the Marauder set. It's kind of the key point of the build. And Cluster Arrow. And Cluster Arrow is using Maelstrom. And in the passive skills, we've got Custom Engineering. So this increases the duration of your sentry. Again, this is key, especially with the Bombardier's Rucksack. That way you can actually have 5 of the sentries out and do a ton of damage with them. So this is a must. The Ballistics here, this plays into the rocket damage increase, and the rockets come from some of the runes in these other skills up here. Again, key to doing a ton of damage. This is your variable right here, Steady Aim. I've been playing with some other stuff. Getting a Hellfire Amulet with a nice passive might be this might be a good one to put in if you get a nice passive. You can switch this out with a number of other passives. Really, it's kind of your choice on this one here. Call of the Week. This build is the Ice Rocket build, which is why the runes here have cold damage. So the Call of the Week, it does 20% extra damage against chilled or slowed enemies. So with your sentries dealing out with this elemental arrow, the frost arrow, and the cluster arrow here shooting the cold damage with Maelstrom, it will always basically do 20% extra damage because every enemy is going to be chilled or slowed. So without further ado, let's jump into a rift and we'll show this off. So we're running this on T6, and again I said it was a bit squishy, so as I go up in rank I will do more damage, be less squishy, and all that good stuff. So I can generally do a rift solo in about 14 minutes depending on the layout. But we'll jump through here and I'll show you the build.
Are you strong enough to survive the trial?
So the key is as soon as you see enemies spawn, you want to drop the sentry. And as you can see right there, just drop the sentry, vault it away, stay alive. Vaulting some more, dropping another sentry. As soon as that sentry respawns, just spawn another one. So I'm going to start shooting, as you can see, just dealing a ton of damage here. Just critting 11 million. Getting your critical hit damage up is a big part of this, will help. T6 does get a bit tricky, especially being so sticky. I don't even shoot. I never right click. I mean, rarely ever. I'm just kind of running around trying to stay alive, dropping a sentry. It's actually, when I first started playing, I thought it was kind of boring. Here comes an elite pack, because the amount of just kind of waiting and hiding you did, but it actually works out really well. If you're used to playing something like Barbarian, something that's up close, maybe a Crusader, that's going to be a totally different play style than anything you've probably ever played in the past. And almost died there. Fortunately, I need this potion here. As your Paragon level goes up, there's a few things you're going to want to max out first, and we'll take a look at that since I'm not getting attacked right now. Dexterity, obviously, you want to get up there. After Dexterity, next logical one's probably Vitality. Movement speed might help, especially evading stuff. But Maximum Hatred, you're really not going to worry about Hatred at all. And that's just because you're dropping sentries and you're really not clicking. If you're a click-happy person, then Maximum Hatred might matter to you. But again, max out Dexterity and work on Vitality first. For Offensive, your cooldown reduction is key. Max that out. If you have it anywhere else, just reset it and max it out. Then you can work with critical hit damage or critical hit chance, or attack speed. Any one of those. Your defensives, the first thing you want to max out is resist all, unless you've got phenomenal all resist gear. And then start working on armor, life regen, life, really any order you want to after that. Get resist all the way And then your utilities, I did life on hit. It helps with the turrets or sentries. After that, really not much here matters. The area damage does not work on sentries that I know of. Everything I've looked into, it doesn't count, so don't spend any time putting anything into there. Get the resource cost reduction first, or second after the life on hit. Maybe gold, fine, you could always put that in there. Alright, let's jump back in here.
Still waiting. Dark, still waiting. Not ready yet.
Some things you can do is hide behind little barricades like this, kind of drop a sentry out in the middle. Hopefully they won't come back to find you like those guys just did.
I'm still waiting.
Now I got the lead pack here. The lightning, because I have that amulet that heals me, the lightning, I will try to actually run into the lightning when it makes sense. Another thing to try to keep in mind is, because of that passive skill that does more damage when you're further away, you want to kind of space out your sentries, at least then you have some more damage being done the further away the enemy is. You kind of do a surround attempt, especially if I can move around a little bit. I'll run around the enemy and just drop them. Another little benefit of having your pet companions out is that any gold, the little ferrets running around will pick it up. So it does kind of help to run out and pick up gold, especially if we don't have extended gold pickup. There's a lead pack. I'm just kind of trying to dance around them, drop a sentry on it when it's ready. Cruising through pretty quick. I've been trying the Scoundrel out. I really don't have much of a preference. I just found the best gear for him so far, especially since I'm playing as a Demon Hunter. I'll try to show the stand on the side here. Sometimes you won't get hit and you can drop a sentry like that. Of course they're all dead now.
Still waiting.
Remember that vaulting is key here. You get used to it. It took me a little bit just because I've never really teleported as a wizard or jumped around as any other class. But vaulting is just second nature now. It just happens. As soon as my life gets low, I immediately vault. Now the vault rune I use, I don't think I showed that off, is the one that does fire damage. So by vaulting through your enemies, as you can see fire comes up right there, you actually do some damage. So while evading, you can sometimes jump through them and deal a little extra additional damage. There's a number of other options if you're trying to get through quickly. You can stun them. There's one that'll reduce the cost. Now I'm going to go hide here. I'm just going to run back here and keep dropping sentries and hopefully survive this. Jump in here. And that worked out pretty well. I got lucky there. So as I was saying, you can use Vault with the rune that I think it's after each jump it'll reduce the cost of your discipline by 1 for the next vault. That can help if you're trying to jump or like run through, rush somebody through real quick or something. I don't use it. I'd rather do the damage, and it really doesn't save that much. But Again, if you're doing a speed run, that might be very beneficial. When I died there, I jumped into a big mess. That's one thing you have to be careful with in Vault, is watch where you're clicking, because you could end up somewhere you don't want to be.
Not ready yet. Still waiting.
Let's hide back over here and just keep casting these sentries out in the middle. And it worked. Patience is key with this build. I'm one that always wants to run in, run and gun, and that does not work. You'll just end up dying left and right here. Got the Resplendent.
Still waiting.
One thing I'll use is when I've got all my sentries out, I'll press my number 2 here, the Companion Wolf Companion. Oh, it's really on, but it'll increase my attack speed. I just pressed it now. Increase my attack speed, which overall increases my damage. And when you have all your sentries out, it really can help you, especially against the Rift Guardian at the end, or any big Uber boss or anything like that. There's certainly other ways of playing the Marauder build. There is a fire build instead of using TNT, which I don't have yet. But instead of using TNT, you can use Cinder Coat, anything that really increases your fire skill damage. And people have had a lot of success with that. I personally like this one. It's less gear dependent, simply because of the passive skill that does the 20% additional damage to the enemies. And that's something you can have equipped all the time and select by selecting the right room and passive skills. Walking through that guy, dealing damage to him for a few seconds. Every little bit helps.
Not ready yet. I need healing. Still waiting.
And the ice frozen pulse got me. So whenever I do find the amulet, I don't know the name, but the one that resists all cold damage and heals you, I'm definitely switching to that, because those ice pulses always get me.
Need more time.
My guy's always yelling, he needs more time. It's because I'm always mashing the sentry key all the time. I never stop.
Not ready yet.
Another thing I'll try to do is I'm going to pay attention to the percentage here. When it's about 98%, 99%, really start looking for an elite pack, that last elite pack, and setting up my sentries strategically so that when the Rift Guardian spawns, I've got 5 sentries out. And all I really have to do is just hide and wait for them to do all the work. 95% now, won't be much longer.
Still waiting.
97%.
Need more time.
Yeah, we're getting close. Maybe after this little pack here.
Still waiting.
99, yep, I'm gonna drop it. There it is. So I didn't quite get all my sentries out that I wanted to, but I do have a few. I can just kind of lead them back here. Sentry's already in place. Drop another one up here so we can start shooting. As soon as he gets up here, I'm gonna press my number 2, the companion here, and it'll do more damage. It does have a pretty long cooldown. I'm gonna hit it now. Get out of here. Do as much damage as it can here.
Need more time. Sweet revenge.
This one's actually treating me pretty well. It's nice having the sentries do all the work where you just run around and pick up health globes and just do your best to stay alive and hide. And there we go. And of course, no legendaries.
I need to go back.
So that's the solo T6 run with what I would call mediocre high-end gear. I certainly don't have the best rolls on any of these, and even the gems aren't really that high. But you can easily do a T6 run solo with the Marauder set. Thanks.